viewers, here with the latest news and developments from around the world is ERi-TV English news broadcast. Reporting live from the headquarters is me, Barsa Betakhla. First are the top stories for today, Saturday, 29 November. President Isaias arrives in Port Sudan. Workshop in the Central region to develop cultural and artistic competitions. 13 Syrians killed and 25 injured in Israeli aggression on Damascus countryside. And Iran condemns Australia's dangerous move against the IRGC. And your domestic reports on the invitation of General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the chairman of Sudan's Sovereign Council. President Isaias arrived in Port Sudan in the early afternoon hours today for a working visit. President Isaias and his entourage were accorded warm welcome by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and senior government ministers on their arrival by road travel at the entrance of Port Sudan. President Isaias' visit is both symbolic and vivid gesture of the warm and robust solidarity that Eritrea harbors towards the people of Sudan and their government in these times of adversity. The residents of the port city came out in their thousands to welcome President Isaias Afwerki, chanting in celebration of the historic relations between Eritrea and Sudan. The two leaders will hold discussions focusing on the development of bilateral ties between the two countries, the conflict in Sudan and its developments, as well as regional and global issues of mutual interest. It is to be recalled that General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan conducted an official visit to Eritrea on 10 April this year, while Prime Minister Dr. Kamil Idris conducted a similar visit on 9 and 10 October 2025. Coming back to events occurring within the country, the Central Region organized a workshop on 26 November aimed at enhancing cultural and artistic competitions, both in quality and quantity. Mr. Siraj Mahmoud from the Culture and Sports Office said that the objective of the workshop was to review the activities conducted in 2025 in terms of strengths and challenges, assess the capacity of artists, and create a conducive atmosphere for organizing improved programs. Members of the evaluation committee also presented a discussion paper on the dance, music, drama, and poetry performed by the youth, as well as ideas for presenting better artistic works in the future. Mr. Asmeron Tsagebrhan, Director General of Culture and Sports in the region, indicated that presenting cultural and artistic programs in the form of competitions enabled the delivery of quality displays, and that the recommendations of the evaluation committees will significantly contribute to future cultural and artistic activities. Speaking at the event, Mr. Zari Tawalde Birhan, Managing Director in the region, commended the subzonal administrators and partners for their participation in ensuring the successful implementation of the cultural and artistic competitions. In other news, this year, government workers in the Ansaba region have extended over 1,300,000 nafa in support of families of martyrs and students who are children of martyrs. At an assessment meeting conducted on 26 November, it was reported that the money contributed by government workers was distributed to 714 families of martyrs, and that support for students who are children of martyrs will continue until they complete their college education. Commending the initiative taken by government workers, Mr. Mulu Tesfa Mariam, head of organizational affairs at the PFDJ office in the region, called on others to follow the noble example. Next is international reports and more, so stay tuned. Welcome back. At least 13 Syrian people have been killed and more than 25 injured in Israeli strikes on the countryside of the capital, Damascus. This is amid the occupying regime's heightened incursions on the Arab country since the fall of former President Bashar al-Assad and the rule of the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham militants. The casualties, as the Syrian TV reported on Friday, took place in an overnight Israeli attack by helicopters and drones on the town of Beit Jin in the Damascus suburbs after Israeli forces entered the town and were surrounded by local residents, prompting the outbreak of gunfire and confrontations. The Israeli media declined to provide further details of the aggression on Beit Jin, which has been witnessing a surge in the displacement of locals and movement towards neighboring villages following Israel's frequent acts of aggression. Syria has condemned the repeated Israeli incursions as violation of the 1974 disengagement agreement and UN resolutions, and called on the international community to enforce compliance and assure the occupying entity withdraws fully and adheres to the agreement. Still in your international reports, the Australian government listed the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, IRGC, as a state sponsor of terrorism on Thursday, over baseless accusations that the IRGC had orchestrated attacks against Australia's Jewish community. The Iranian Foreign Ministry strongly condemned the decision, denouncing it offensive and unjustified. He said that the Islamic Republic of Iran considers this action illegal, unjustifiable, and a violation of international legal rules and norms in respect of the national sovereignty of states. The Iranian ministry added that this irresponsible action is a continuation of the grave mistake the Australian government committed on the basis of completely unfounded accusations fabricated by the security agencies of the Zionist regime. The ministry was referring to Australia's expulsion of the Iranian ambassador in Canberra in August, following allegations of Iran's involvement into anti-Semitic attacks in the country. And today's final report, NASA astronaut Chris Williams flew aboard the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft with Sergei Mikhaev and Sergei Kudzverchkov joining the station's long-term crew for an 8-month stay. Their work will cover scientific studies and daily operations on the orbiting base. NASA says Williams will focus on research and technology tests designed to support future exploration and improve life on Earth. The team is expected to remain in orbit until July 2026, taking part in dozens of planned experiments and 2 spacewalks. Dear viewers, that was it for today, but before we conclude, a reminder of the top stories. President Isaias Afwerki arrives in Port Sudan. Workshop in the Central Region to develop cultural and artistic competitions. 13 Syrians killed and 25 injured in Israeli aggression in Damascus countryside. And Iran condemns Australia's dangerous move against the IRGC. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow same time with more news and developments. Until then, have a nice weekend.